What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, I'm recording this video a few days ahead of time. I don't know when this video is going to come out. I don't know if it's coming out Thursday or if it's coming out Friday, but I'm just recording this just in the process because I'm not going to be available until the stream on Saturday. So I'm just going ahead and making this video ahead of time, just talking about what exactly the Colts should be looking at when we get to this second game against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, for anyone that's jumping right at the gate wondering, is Anthony Richardson going to play? From what it sounds like is that Chris Ballard told a couple people in the local media there's a good chance that Anthony Richardson does not play Saturday versus Arizona, but will likely play at least a half in preseason wrap up at Cincy, which would be the same exact blueprint that we saw from last year, which Anthony Richardson didn't play anything week 2, but then played a half in the third game, which kind of does make a little bit of sense just off the fact that, you know, they played a game less than, a week ago, and they're obviously having a ton of joint practices this week. Next week, you're going to have one joint practice with the Bengals, and then you get those last reps in the last preseason game. Again, let me know in the comments whether you guys agree with that or not. It's pretty much the same exact thing that they did last year when it came to that. But wanted to also kind of talk, guys, about what exactly the Colts should be looking for if Anthony Richardson isn't playing. I don't know if all of the starters will play. My guess is they probably all would still get some reps. I'm not entirely sure. That's going to be up for interpretation at some point. If there is any starters that do play at the beginning of this next game on Saturday, would love to see, how they look, particularly on the defensive side. You obviously want to get a better look at the secondary if any of those guys are playing, who's getting most of the reps, who's not. Of course, we also want to see how Latu is also picking it up. We saw last week, only had about 8 snaps, but played pretty well in those 8 snaps. Would love to see what he has going for him in his next game. But let me know what you guys are thinking with that. And then, of course, we also want to kind of see how the backups perform, mainly with Micah Abraham. We saw him have a phenomenal first game, kind of how like Juju Brents was in his first regular season game from last year. And Micah Abraham continue to put on a great performance like he did last time, where he had 6 tackles, a tackle for loss, a forced fumble, and a touchdown. So we'll definitely keep an eye on the young fella as well as everyone else. And as far as like with the defense, as we were saying before, that's secondary. We want to see who's getting the reps, who's competing over the other. How does everybody look? Because again, everyone keeps saying that that whole secondary doesn't look great right now for a lot of different reasons. So I want to see that. Also want to see if the tackling gets better in this game too. There was a lot of bad tackling from pretty much everyone except the starters. So I do want to see that as well. Also, going back to the offense, as far as receivers go, would love to see from the wide receiver room who gets a good amount of snaps and who gets a lot of the targets, because Laquan Treadwell had a touchdown last week, and that'll be interesting to see how they perform. And also from the tight end group, we saw Jelani only get 1 catch last week, taking a little bit of a back seat to Will Mallory, also having a drop in there as well. So, Will Mallory, does he continue to get more snaps? Because, Cody had him as a higher up on him than I did with Jelani Woods. So it'll be interesting to see how they look with that rotation. Obviously, guys, there's a lot less to talk about in this grouping than the last one, because we most likely know that Anthony Richardson most likely will not be playing a good chunk. So if he doesn't play, kind of just is just looking at everyone else. And I don't know how much the rest of the starters would actually be playing, if at all. So we'll take this with a grain of salt, guys. See how it looks. Obviously, from the time I'm putting this out, Chris Ballard has only said that he thinks Anthony Richardson will not play, not everyone else. So I don't know what it's going to look like. Nevertheless, still going to keep an eye on the matchups and keep an eye on the position groups as mentioned. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this. Thank you so much. And as always, go Colts.